The sound is horrible. Have them adjust it.
Gopal Krishna Prabhu, can you bring the device closer to your lotus mouth?
Is it here? Anything? Okay.
A little closer to.
I can get my computer.
It might be.
Just say, I'll get my computer.
Jaya Ram Jaya Gopi Jana Malava Girivaradam Jaya Gopi Jana Malava Girivaradam Yashodana Jaya Ram Jaya Gopi Jana Malava Jaya Ram Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Ram Madhava Kunjabi Bhagavatam.
Not getting too technical.
Okay, yes,
So very glad to hear.
yes. Can you give me a computer?
What would you like?
The Krishna devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhavatir Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 30, verses 14 to 18. Verse 14. Iti unmatavacho gopya Krishna veshana katara Lila bhagavatas-tasta hyanu chakrustat atmika. Translation. Having spoken these words, the gopis, distraught from searching for Krishna, began to act out his various pastimes, fully absorbed in thoughts of him. Kasyachit puta nayantya krishyanti abhivatstanam tokye tva rudati anya padaham shakatayatim. This is verse 15. One gopi imitated Putana, while another acted like infant Krishna and pretended to suck her breast. Another gopi, crying in imitation of infant Krishna, kicked a gopi who was taking the role of the card demon Shakatasura. Text 16. Tatyaitva jaharainyam eko Krishnar bhavanam ringayam asakha prangri karshanti koshanik svanai. One gopi took the role of Trinavarta and carried away another who was acting like infant Krishna, while yet another gopi crawled about, her ankle bells tinkling as it pulled her feet. Purport. The gopis started imitating all of Sri Krishna's pastimes, beginning from his earliest activities as a baby. Text 17. Krishna ramaite dvetu gopyantyascha kaschanam vatsyatim hanti chanya tatraikatu bhakaitim. Two gopis acted like Rama and Krishna in the midst of several others who took the role of cowherd boys. One gopi enacted Krishna's killing of the demon Vatsasura, represented by another gopi, and a pair of gopis acted out the killing of Bakasura. Text 18. Ahya duragha vyadvat Krishnas tam anuvartatim venum kvanantim kridantim anyaksham santi sadhiti. When one gopi perfectly imitated how Krishna would call the cows who had wandered far away, how he would play his flute, and how he would engage in various sports, the others congratulated her with explanations of "Well done, well done." Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Sham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padaham Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitam Sham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Pehevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I begin for the blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas at the temple hall and online also, to speak on this very elevated topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. In verse 14, Prabhupada's disciples translated that Gopis was fully absorbed in thoughts of him. Him means Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we can find the statement of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita when he encouraged living entities to be absorb his thoughts in him. He says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto matyaji mam namaskuru. Actually, this verse he says twice in the end of 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and in the end of 18th chapter. So only verse is repeated twice, basically in the same words, with a little difference. And that particular Sanskrit word which is used to fully absorb this tat atmika. And in the same chapter, that word already was used a few times, and Prabhupada disciples, they translate it as absorbed in him, or identifying with him, or becoming absorbed in thought of him. Or later in this chapter, it will be translated as filled with his presence. And how we can absorb our mind, which is very restless and unconquerable, difficult to focus. Krishna gives in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita a verse which helps people, spiritual practitioners, to progress. It's the 5th verse of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Udharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadayat atmeva hyatmano bandhur atmeva ripu atmanaha. Translation. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. And Srila Prabhupada, he translated this verse and he also gave a wonderful purport. I would like to read whole purport. It's quite short to elaborate more on the topic. The word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul, depending upon different circumstances. In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important. Since the mind is a central point of the yoga practice, Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachments to sense objects. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mere of nescience. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of the mind and senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with a false ego, which desires to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way, the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to sense objects. The more one is attracted by sense objects, the more one becomes entangled in material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing this point, that one must do this. It is also said, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayo bandhaya vishaya sango muktvei nirvishayam mana. For man, mind is a cause of bondage and mind is a cause of liberation. Mind absorbed in sense objects is a cause of bondage, and mind detached from the sense objects is a cause of liberation. And that verse is found as Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Therefore, the mind, which is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, is a cause of supreme liberation. Gopis, who are most confidential associates of Lord Shri Krishna in the spiritual world, they, in verses what we read today, they start to enact the pastimes of the Lord, and they start with actually in chronological order. When Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago on this planet Earth, he was establishing Dharma or principles of religion, and he was purifying the earth from unwanted elements. In other words, he was killing different demons. And gopis in these verses, they are enacting these pastimes. And I was reading the transcription of Bhakti Charu Swami seminar on the different demons who comes to the village where Krishna appeared. And different demon represents different qualities in our heart, different unwanted things. These unwanted things are called anarthas. So I'm gonna read a few of the demons who Krishna killed and what they represent. And as we read today in the verses, there was demons mentioned, Utana, Shakatasura, Trinavarta, Vatsasura, and Bhakasura. Putana, the witch, the pseudo-guru. We all know how Putana came into the village where the baby Lord Krishna lived and assumed a beautiful form, and then tried to kill him by offering her breast milk to him after she had put poison on her breast. But Krishna sucked the life air of her and killed her. Nonetheless, Krishna had accepted her like a mother, and she attained liberation. Putana represents the pseudo-guru. The pseudo-guru may appear in one or both of two forms. First, a deceitful so-called guru who preaches sense gratification or liberation or both. Second, the inwardly manifest of spiritual guide in the form of mundane empiric reasoning faculty, the material mind. It's interesting that guru could be a person and guru could be also the mind. What people mostly follow in this world, I can at least say about myself, how many times in a day you become follower of your uncontrolled mind, and then you get in trouble. And then you realize, I did something wrong because it doesn't work. And Vedic scriptures, they give us a recipe how we can conquer our mind. And that's what we now practicing. We are listening to the transcendental sound vibration of Holy Scriptures, which helps us to purify our existence and come to the level of the soul. Another demon mentioned is Shakatasura, it's a card demon. It represents carrying the burden of a cartload of old and new bad habits, not understanding the purpose of religious principles. It also represents that pastime, represents lethargy, dullness, and false pride. Krishna removes this contamination by kicking it aside. And Bhakti Saraswami explains, Shakata means a cart, a bullock cart. Those days they used to carry things not in tractors or trucks and such vehicles. The mode of transportation was carts, drawn by bullocks. So there was a Shakata, and they used to keep all things on that cart, and they used to harness it with a bull or bulls. So it was an occasion when Krishna was just turning to his side, which means about 3 months. At 3 months or so, the baby learns to turn to his side. So that is occasion to celebrate. They were celebrating this occasion, and when Mother Yashoda was making all the arrangements, she thought that she would keep Krishna under this cart. This kind of protected somehow. But a demon actually came and wanted to kill Krishna. The idea actually was that Putana assumed the form, and therefore Krishna could kill her. So this one decided not to take any form, refers to demon, but just to go there and make the cart to collapse. And then he would put his pressure and strength on Krishna to kill him. Krishna knew what was going on. So Krishna was lying there, and what he did, he just touched the cart with his baby foot, maybe just with the toe, and the cart immediately collapsed. And all these heavy articles were there, and they just got scattered. An anxious Mother Yashoda rushed out and found that although the cart collapsed, all the articles were scattered and fell, but the baby Krishna was not harmed. So that is Shakatasura story, a short, how this cart fell on, not on Krishna, but near him. And it represents how we carry so many unwanted things with us. old and new habits what we occur in our life. And sometimes when it happens to travel, you realize how much stuff actually carry with you in your suitcase. You cannot just go with no load, but sometimes it's quite big. And especially if you move from one apartment to another apartment, or from one city to another city, and especially if you move from one country to another, then you realize, oh my God, I have so much. Why I need all these things? And after some time, you again accumulate more, and you realize that I'm not so advanced. There's a few more demons. I just quickly go to them. Trinavartes, another pastime, was gopis was enacting. They were meditating, but they was also performing a drama. So in this way, they perfectly absorbed their minds and remembered Krishna. Trinavarta is a whirlwind demon. It represents false pride, which coming from dry or material logic, which leads to bogus philosophies. This pastime represents that this Trinavarta represents the false pride produced by useless scholarship, which gives rise to wrangling, debates, and arguments, dry reasoning, and dry logical indulgences in the association of people who are attached to such things. It produces controversy, which is disloyal to the path of pure bhakti, such as Mayavada and Buddhism. It is a breeding place of demonic sinful philosophies. So basically that demon is false pride, which is one of the biggest enemies of conditioned soul in this world. When we become puffed up of really insignificant things. And in this world, many times when people become educated, it increases the pride so much, especially material education. And also it's dangerous to become spiritually educated, because we can become theoretical devotees and know so much, but still not engaging ourselves in a service of the Lord, and can become also proud still of our knowledge. Another pastime what gopis was enacting was Vatsasura, or the calf demon. It represents a childish type of mentality which gives rise to a type of greediness, which results in a wicked type of mischievousness. I read about a storyline some. So Krishna is just about 6 years old, like only 5 to 6. And at that time, the children in the cowherd community were given the charge of the calves. They have to go to take care of the cows. But as children, they can take care of the children of the cows. So Krishna was given charge of with Balaram to take care of the calves. With their friends, they used to go to the forest. So once they went to the forest, and here came this demon, Vatsasura, disguised as a calf. In the middle of so many calves, this calf was there, which was actually a demon, and his intention was to kill Krishna and Balaram. So Krishna identified the demon, and he told Balaram, Balaram, this character looks strange. You can't trust him. He is not our regular calf. So who is this character? Balaram asked, will you take care of him, or should I take care of him? Krishna said, let me take care of him. And then at one point, this calf just came and charged toward Krishna. It tried to kill him. And Krishna just grabbed the calf with his legs and started to swing him. Sorry. This is Krishna's favorite way of killing the demons, especially when they come in the form of some animal. And then he threw the calf into the space. It was already dead, and it fell in the forest of Kapita trees. And there was one more demon, was Bakasura, which represents false religiosity. He represents cunning, duplicity, deceptive behavior, and hypocrisy. It's an outward manifestation of false lifestyle of cheating activities. And I just went a little deep into these pastimes and the representation, but the point was that everything what Lord does is full of meanings. It's always have double, triple, quadruple meanings. And any deed the Supreme Lord enacted in this world always achieve many purposes. Like he comes to this world to Paritana Sadhuna Vinasha Chadushkritam. He says in Bhagavad Gita, he comes to establish principles of Dharma or religion. Dharma actually, proper translation, Shabda describes is not only some type of religion, but is our constitutional position. So when Lord appears in this world, he actually comes to awaken that what already inside of every living entity, bhakti or pure devotional service. And these pastimes, what we read today, many pastimes Lord performed, and by performing one pastime, he was achieving many things simultaneously. And by reading of these pastimes, we become absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, and we also get the benefit of purifying our heart of unwanted things. And I just want to conclude about how to control the mind and get absorbed in thoughts of Krishna by reciting one poem. I brought a book, which is upcoming book of Champaka Saki.
Oh, look at that.
And just yesterday we received a few copies.
Wow.
So it's 70 poems composed by Champakalata. So I'm going to read one of them to you. It's about the mind. Oh mind, become my friend. May your worship of Krishna never end. Oh mind, may you find the lotus feet of Nanda's son. These feet bring bliss to everyone. Oh mind, stay there forever. There lies your ultimate treasure, which will keep you warm even in cold weather, because this is a transcendental pleasure. Oh mind, in the past you've been my enemy, making me seek relief so desperately. I felt fear so heavily, because I was searching for happiness separately from these feet I now hold preciously. Oh mind, these feet make one fearless. As our faith increases, fear disappears with shocking quickness. Fearlessness in our heart makes its appearance. We can reach our potential with no interference. When we worship the Lord as our only business, this Lord gives us shelter as our life's witness. Oh mind, find others who are kind, such saints who are aligned with the purpose of humankind. Life's purpose may, to you they remind, is to arrive home back to the spiritual world, where you will no longer be confined, but with joy you will thrill and thrill and thrill in a dance divine. Oh mind, you've attained this rare human birth. The purpose of you being on this earth is to cross over this ocean of birth and death, and to go back to the spiritual world at your last breath. Oh mind, this is easily done when you take shelter of the feet of Nanda's son. It's inspired by Bhajo Huremana Nandana Abhaya Charana Vindare. Oh mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. having obtained this rare human birth, crossed over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. So we have a few minutes left if anybody wants to share their realizations, comments, complaints. Yes, Prabhuji. Adi Purusha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you for this class. Very important topic, controlling the mind. And you were just reflecting some of the things you said. You said that the mind can become the best friend or the worst enemy. There's a quote from scripture that says, the mind is a thing unto itself. It can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven, right? That the mind drags us down, or if we have a good control over the mind and use it properly, it can lift us up. And we have these descriptions of all these different demoniac personalities who represent bad qualities in our character. And sometimes we think, I will lift myself up by my bootstraps. You ever hear that? Grab your shoelaces and pick yourself up. It doesn't work. I've tried it. But here you're talking about how Krishna, how wonderful is Krishna, that the Lord can actually conquer these different kinds of adversity and help to purify us. And so that we take shelter, because we have to put the mind someplace. We take shelter of thinking about how wonderful Krishna is, how powerful he is, how beautiful he is, how intelligent he is, how merciful he is, and how he's caring for us. And just by thinking of Krishna, Krishna will, you quoted that verse, it just, everything that is inauspicious and troublesome to the heart is destroyed, practically destroyed, just by meditating on the Lord. So very wonderful class. I didn't say anything you didn't say, just reflecting, just repeating. Thank you very much. We have to hear these things because we're all grappling with the troublesome situation.
Thank you so much, Adi Purusha Prabhu. Anybody else in the temple would like to comment?
Thank you so much for such a wonderful class. Yeah, I was just thinking about how this is like the original transcendental drama, the gopis enacting Krishna's pastimes, and that they were like, I mean, I don't think that they were thinking like, oh, you know, us enacting Krishna's pastime is gonna help absorb our consciousness in Krishna. Like they were so absorbed in Krishna and in so much separation from Krishna that like spontaneously they started acting out his pastimes to just, yeah, like basically out of the madness of their love. But I was just, yeah, that just came to my mind that drama can be, transcendental drama can be an expression of remembering Krishna. When someone's on the highest level, like the level of the gopis, but for devotees who aren't on that highest level of the level of gopis, that enacting Krishna's pastimes, acting out Krishna's pastimes can help us become absorbed in Krishna's pastimes.
Wonderful. We have a few minutes left. Maybe somebody wants.
Gopal Krishna Prabhu, wonderful class. Thank you so much. We're so happy that you are becoming a regular contributor to our class. So we're gonna include you every month, and you're not allowed to say no. There was one devotee. She was in the drama as a kid, Krishna conscious drama. Then she went to, many years later, she went to India and got into a into a car accident, I think, or maybe she fell from a rock or something like that. Something difficult happened to her. And she said, as I was going through that difficulty, my mind was racing. And then, it was a life and death situation. And then she said, she was recalling later, she said, all I could remember at that time was the shloka that I learned from my drama, my lines from that drama that I was part of as a kid. I didn't remember any shlokas. I remembered my lines from that drama. So the drama is a very powerful process of bhakti. So if you ever do a drama, if you need a good demon, let me know. We can, Bhima Prabhu. I think Bhima Prabhu can do a good concept. Bhima Prabhu, what do you think? I hope I didn't insult him too much. Bhima Prabhu.
He's the cart demon with the mustache.
Yeah, the cart demon.
Yeah. I've got a lot of baggage. Krishna just needs to kick me with his toe and down I crumble. That's why I'm at a distance from you guys, because if I crumbled in front of you, you guys would all be crushed.
Yeah, Bhima Prabhu is riding his lone mourner. So that's a good Shakatasura demon, the cart demon.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Okay. It's 8:00. Darshan can come anytime. So we encourage everybody to stand up and be seen by Krishna. Jeffrey Eckler, that includes you. You should stand up or get down on your knees. No.
Teenager saying to my mother, I could see that there was a distress coming, and it's something internal. I just said, "Oh, my mind." She said, "Yeah, I know." She didn't have a solution, but she could understand, and I could understand. What are we gonna do about this thing that's bugging me on a subtle level?
Okay. That was a wonderful class, wonderful poetry. O mind, help me reach out to those who are kind. I don't want to be confined. Nice poem. Bhima Prabhu is overshadowed by that poetry. Okay, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for participating. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Nice seeing you, Poppy C, Venetia. That was a nice joke, Venetia. Was that you? The card demon. Nice. Yogeshwari, Suzanne, Preeti, Chaturvedi, Amita Kishori, Didi, Dana, Krishna Radharani, Sharmila, Pink Yogi of Harlem, His Grace Bhima Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.